it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be doing another writing update. So first of all, where my writing desk is located, you're gonna see the cats going up and down the stairs here. Like, you're gonna hear the bells of the cats chiming. It's gonna be a problem. I'm sorry, but I can't really kick them out. But today I do have a lot of things that I want to talk to you guys about, so I don't want to really waste any time. So we're gonna be talking about Book of Sisters, which still doesn't have a title, and we're going to be talking about my contemporary project, which I'll actually start with that because I want to tell you guys what my contemporary project is about. Now, with Book of Sisters, I've kept things really secretive. I haven't told you guys a lot, and I'm going to keep it that way. I would like to keep a lot of things secret about that one, but for my contemporary project, I want to have you guys really follow along on the journey with me, so I'm going to tell you guys the big premise for it. So I've talked a little bit about my contemporary project. I haven't really been able to delve into it because I've been so focused on revisions for Book of Sisters, which I will also be talking about in this video, but my contemporary project is the book that I had initially wanted to write. I've always written in contemporary. I've never done fantasy before, and I've always pictured myself as being a contemporary writer. So I knew the bulk of the story. I just didn't know what would happen in the story, if that makes any sense. So my contemporary project is about a backpacking trip all around Europe. You guys know I love European travel novels, and I have been on a trip to Europe myself, so I wanted to write a trip to Europe. And I didn't know what the story was going to be, but it occurred to me this past summer exactly what I wanted it to be. I got the characters, I got everything down, and I actually did start writing it. I'm a couple chapters into it, but I want to outline it because I think I'm going to be trying NaNoWriMo again, because apparently I need something to further fuel my self-loathing. I did NaNoWriMo last year, got 30,000 words into something, and realized I didn't really have a story, so I'm trying to prevent that this year. I think a contemporary will be a lot easier because the other one I was doing was an urban fantasy, but I still had to build this fantasy world, and I don't think I was prepared for that. I wasn't ready to just go into it. So now, in between my revisions for Book of Sisters, I am trying to map out this trip to Europe and figuring out the places that I want the characters to go and all of that stuff. My contemporary is once again a story that involves sisters, but it's very different from Book of Sisters because it is twin sisters, but not both of them are actually in the story. There's a lot of things going on. I'm really excited to write it because I have a lot of good ideas. It's honestly just figuring out the in-between, because I think I have the ending, although that has kind of changed now, so I really just need to take a couple of days before November and just map out the whole thing so I will be ready for NaNoWriMo. Now, I'm going to be doing a very relaxed version of NaNoWriMo. I won't be really sad if I don't hit 50,000 words. I'll be happy if I write at least every weekday. Like, I'm not that concerned about weekends because I find that November is a really, really busy time of year for me no matter what. Work gets really busy because the holiday season is coming up. I am preparing for Bookmas, so I do a lot of my Bookmas filming, almost all of it in November, and it's just always been a really bad time of year for doing NaNoWriMo, but I do still want to give it my best shot, see if I can get a pretty good chunk of this contemporary novel done, because it shouldn't be that hard, and I say that now, and this is like, I feel like I'm just dooming myself for it to be a really awful writing experience, but I honestly am so excited to write this story. I think you guys will really enjoy following the main character. As it is in my head right now, it's a love story, but not about like two characters, and I've said this before, but it's not about like two characters falling in love. It's about the main character falling in love with herself. So I think if I can achieve that goal, we'll be golden. I actually took a picture of a quote that I think encompasses it really well, which I would like to read to you now. So this is a quote from James Joyce, and it says, "I wanted real adventures to happen to myself, but real adventures, I reflected, do not happen to people who remain at home. They must be sought abroad." So yeah, I'm just really excited to start writing this novel, so November will be really fun and also awful, but mostly really fun. Now, regarding Book of Sisters, not a ton of news on that front. I do have an agent in mind that I would like to sign to, so I have some people that I'm thinking about querying, all of that stuff, but I still need to finish my revisions, at least the first round, which is going to take the longest. So right now I'm on chapter 13, and I had initially started my goal of doing a chapter a day, but that wasn't working. I wasn't really dedicating myself or pushing myself, so I decided to go to at least 2 chapters chapters a day. And I have been like a couple of days running behind, but so far I've been doing really well. So I have 36 chapters total. I'm on chapter 13 right now, and I should be, hopefully, my goal right now is to be at chapter 25 by the end of the week, but I'll honestly be happy if I'm anywhere in the 20s, like if I'm at 22, whatever, I'll be really, really happy about that. I have gotten through the bulk of the chapters that needed a lot of work. I just did a couple that needed quite a bit of work, and I don't really know if I'm happy with where they ended up. That's something that I'm going to look into in my next round of edits, and then I'll do more of like grammar edits, and then I will go to querying agents. So I will be there hopefully in November. That's honestly the goal, is while I'm writing my contemporary project, I will be querying and stuff for Book of Sisters. I just really need to kick my butt into gear and get it done. I just find revisions to be a very tedious process. I don't enjoy it at all, but I need to do it, so I need to suck it up and stop whining about it. Now, before I get to a few Q&A questions, I actually wanted to reveal a couple of excerpts to you guys. So I've actually been revealing quite a few lines from Book of Sisters on Twitter, and you guys have been really responding very positively to that, so that is very exciting. I'm super happy about that, but I just wanted to reveal a couple of my favorite parts of it for you guys. So I feel like I'm kind of setting up the expectation really high by revealing these lines, because obviously I'm picking and choosing my favorites, but like I'm still gonna do it because you guys seem to like it. Also, if you don't know what Book of Sisters is about or anything like that, I will link the playlist for all of my writing videos down below where I tell you guys a little bit more about the project and everything. But it's basically a book about a sister who makes a mistake and she ends up in a situation, and yeah, I told you I was keeping things vague. Also, keep in mind as I'm reading these excerpts that the wording and everything could change. These could be completely gone in the finished product. Like, I don't really know, okay? So this first one I have actually revealed on Twitter before, but I wanted to do it in a video as well. So it says, "The words that came spilling from my mouth became a sort of damnation, a life sentence. From that moment on, I would be sheltered, cultivated like a delicate rose as I blossomed into a young woman. But I was a rare rose, one that needed fierce protection." Dun dun dun! A dramatic reading for you all. And then this next one I need to find. I haven't actually posted this one on Twitter yet, but I wrote it the other day and I completely ended up like changing it and everything, and I'm really happy with how it ended up being, or that was words. Yep, I wrote a book. I promise it's better than that. But here is this next one. "As I wandered through the castle, I felt like I was stuck in between the covers of an old book, flipping the pages with each step that I took. The halls of the castle were made up of the sentences of the fairy tales that I read, punctuation marks forming each stone tile, while letters curved up the walls and created the ornate stonework design. It was practically written in the very framework of the space that, were I in distress, a dashing young man would come and valiantly save me, falling in love the second our eyes met. I just hoped there wouldn't be any evil queens or tyrannical kings to contend with." So yeah, those are a couple of excerpts from Book of Sisters, and now I'm going to be answering a couple of questions that you guys asked. So the first question is, would you say the contemporary project will be more Morgan Matson or more Adam Silvera? I will begin stockpiling Kleenex if I need to. And I feel like it's gonna be a good mix of the both. It definitely has some sad and emotional elements to it, but it is also a really fun story, so I think it's going to be a good middle ground there. Would you like to have your book translated into different languages? And absolutely, I would love to have my book translated into every single language possible, because I want as many people as possible to read it. So I think it would be amazing to be able to see my book and like the different covers that different publishers would give it in a different country. I think that intrigues me a lot. So seeing it translated into a different language would be amazing. Next is, what part was the hardest to write? Did you know everything about it when you started writing? So I'll answer this question for Book of Sisters, obviously, because I haven't actually written the contemporary yet, but the hardest part to write for Book of Sisters, I feel like it was really easy, but at the same time, it was really hard. That would be the ending. The ending is like my next big thing that I know in revisions is going to take me a long time. The last couple of chapters, I definitely need to bulk it up because I was just so excited to be at the end that I kind of rushed through it, which I feel like is like inevitable. So I would really like to re-examine that and kind of drag things out a little bit more, because the ending, like, there's a lot that happens at the end. So I think I could definitely make it a little bit longer. And actually, when I initially finished my first draft, it was at 82,000 words, and now my second draft is at 95,000 words. So I feel like I'm gonna pass the 100,000 mark, which is crazy, and I'm really excited about it. But I definitely think that the ending is really hard. The beginning was really hard too, because I was so hesitant to start because I didn't really know where to start. But once I got started, it was fine. It's just the ending, I definitely rushed through a lot. Oh, and did I know everything about it when I started writing? So I knew little bits and pieces of what I wanted to happen. I had to sit down one day and just kind of write a point form list of everything that was going to happen in order. And I ended up getting to the end and having to do that again because I had so many ideas for the ending, but I didn't know how everything was going to happen. So I found myself doing that point form list a lot and it really helped out. Can you give any advice for people who just started writing? I would say keep on writing, keep on reading, because reading will really help your writing, but don't let anyone say that you can't, because I had a professor when I was in university who told me that I would never be able to write a book, and guess what? I did. Do you ever worry that the idea for a story you have written about already exists without you knowing? I think that's a really hard thing to contend with. I know Book of Sisters. I've never seen anything in the YA genre like that, so I'm not really worried about Book of Sisters. There's definitely different European travel books out there in terms of my contemporary project, but it's more unique because of the whole concept of it, which I don't know how much I want to tell you about that. Like, I want you guys to be alongside the journey, but I also want to, I don't know, keep some things secretive. I guess, like, let me know how much you want to know about the contemporary project, and maybe I'll do a whole video kind of telling you more about it. But I think it's only natural to worry about that, but honestly, there's so many texts out there, so many like different pieces of media, so many stories out there that it's kind of impossible to have an entirely unique idea, but just try and make it your idea, I guess. Like, obviously don't plagiarize, but I think as long as you're writing from like your point of view, you're gonna be fine. How do you stay motivated / inspired during the long process of writing your draft? It's really difficult, especially when things get hard, and it's a really tedious process. Even writing is a tedious process because I know what the story is in my head and I just want it to be on the page because I know, so like I just want it to, like, I can lay my head down on the page or on the computer really because I type, and then just like through osmosis it's just there. Oh, wouldn't that be magical? I wish. So I find that I get very impatient because I want to move on to the next story, and that's just the nature of who I am. But I just think of the fact that I want this to happen so badly. Like, I've never wanted anything more in my life than to be a published author and to make writing my career. That has been my lifelong dream. There's never been anything that I've always wanted to do, but since I was in grade 4, as I've said many times, I've always wanted to be a writer. So I just think of like the obligation I feel like I have to, like, I don't know how old you are in grade 4, like 8-year-old me, and I need to at least try and do it, because if I don't try, I'll never know if it will work out. And obviously I'll be really devastated if it doesn't, but it really helps me to push through when I think of the fact that this is something that I want so badly. Next question is, are you looking into publishing it soon, and will it be available in the States? I actually think I'm going to pursue publication in the States. It's just, there's more opportunities than in Canada, so I would like it to be available everywhere. And I kind of answered this question earlier, but I think I'm going to start querying agents in November. It is a really long process of getting published, so I can see myself, like, the book not being out until like 2020, 2021. Like, it takes a really long time from when you sign with an agent, when you get your publisher, and like the whole publication process. So it could be a really long time before you guys see either of these books. I'm gonna skip over some of these questions because I have answered them in previous Q&As that I've done, but I think I'm gonna answer a couple more. So this one is, does Book of Sisters have a title? It doesn't yet. I have been racking my brain trying to figure out a title for this damn book, and I still have nothing. So I've been working really hard on trying to get a title, and I know that the title isn't like said and done. Once I give it to a publisher, they might retitle it, but like I literally can't even think of a temporary title. So it's just Book of Sisters right now. I do have a name for the series, but no name for the actual book itself, which is so annoying. Quite a few people ask me this, but this question is, which genre are you finding it the easiest to write in? And 100% contemporary is so much easier for me to write in because I like metaphors, like referencing things in pop culture as I'm writing, and I can't do that with fantasy because those things don't exist in that world, because it's entirely like, it's not an urban fantasy. There's no earth in the story. So I have so many times when I'm like, this is just like this, and like this would be the perfect metaphor, but I can't write it, which is part of the reason why I really started thinking about my contemporary project, was because I wanted somewhere where I could write those different metaphors that I really enjoy and do those different pop culture references. So contemporary is definitely a lot easier for me to write in. I really want to answer all of these, but this video is already like super long, and I hope when I edit it, it won't be very long, but I'm sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent, and my writing videos just get very rambly because I want to talk about all of it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this book writing update. I hope you guys are excited for Book of Sisters. It literally like makes me emotional every time I see you guys getting so excited whenever I post an excerpt on Twitter or anything. By the way, follow me on Twitter if you want to like keep up with everything, because I post different, like, what are they called, aesthetic things. I post like lines from it, all that stuff. You can follow me on Twitter because I talk a lot about that stuff there. Also Instagram, I put it in my story, like all that stuff. But I hope you guys are excited for my contemporary project. I'll probably do my next writing update at the end of November, seeing as that will be the end of NaNoWriMo, and I will also, fingers crossed, be querying agents by then. But I'm really nervous to post this because I told you guys exactly what the contemporary project is about, but I hope you guys are excited for it. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. I put up new videos every Wednesday and Friday, and I already told you guys all about my social media, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!